Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando. And we are on episode 63.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I just called an episode that we're dropping after this one, episode 63.
Yeah, like we get into these weird time travel things, I feel like, because of the order that we record stuff. So we've got an episode that's going to be releasing on Sunday, an incredible interview with Hustle at Home mom. It was super awesome, but we recorded it before this one. So yeah, I think you got a little confused there.
Yeah, that should have been episode 64. So
you won't hear Orlando's mistake until Sunday. But when you hear it on Sunday,
maybe Mike should awkwardly edit. So it'll go like episode, and then I don't know, you hear me go 64.
60. It'll be like episode 64. Like it won't match.
It's so bad. So anyways, apologize to you guys if you listened to that interview on Sunday. My bad. But listen, that interview definitely worth listening to. And if you haven't listened to Craigslist Hunter's interview, it's the most listened to, most watched interview or episode that we've had because it was that good. And we truly believe that Hustle at Home Mom's interview is next level. Like definitely worth your time.
Yeah, it was super awesome. So if you don't already follow her, make sure to go follow her. She has some incredible YouTube videos. She's got a great Instagram account. And check us out on Sunday when we went for like an hour and a half and got pretty deep with some stuff. So
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. But man, we're finally back in Cali. We're finally back in the studio doing an update episode.
It's been a long time. You're still in eBay open mode. I see your shirt. If you're listening to the podcast, Mike decided to wear his eBay open shirt.
Yeah, I'm wearing my eBay open shirt and
his free swag.
Yeah, this is one of the things I decided I wasn't gonna sell. We'll keep this one, but
I got some fanny packs. I don't know what to do. Did you see other people? I thought I scored with like 2 fanny packs. There's people that have like cratefuls of eBay fanny packs.
Yeah, no, I saw some people getting a handful of those. Also, I didn't realize like eBay Open is like Disneyland with like the buttons. Like there's like totally button collection going on there.
That is true. So next year, if you're eBay Open, keep an eye for the Pure Hustle Podcast buttons.
Yeah. Maybe help us design one. Send in your designs. That'd be sweet.
They just have to put the logo on the front.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. But we could have like a second one. We could do like just the logo, like bland logo. And then like maybe like one of our listeners can design a super cool one with like a duck decoy that says like Pure Hustle Podcast. I don't know.
There you go. Who knows? Okay. A lot going on. Update episode. We got to like time travel in our minds and stuff that's happened, right? Outside. We're going to talk about eBay Open, right? During our like kind of reseller topic section. But want to catch up a little bit. How's life been? How's reselling been?
Yeah. Don't ask me that right off the bat. I'm going to ask you because I've got a lot to talk about.
Well,
and I don't want to be that guy that's just like, blah, blah, well,
blah, you did have a garage sale that you ran. Now, are you sharing that later on? Is that
no? I mean, I can definitely talk about that now.
All right. So let's refresh the listeners since it's been so many episodes. What happened? Like, what led to that garage sale, and what did you do?
So, like, just to give a little bit of background, most of our listeners already know. Like, I'm downsizing, moved out of our condo, bought a fifth wheel, moving into the fifth wheel, and one of the things that we were prepared for, but weren't really prepared for, was the amount of things we had to sell or give away, right? And if you think about it, like my wife and I have been married for like 8 years. And so we've got a huge collection of stuff, like not just like collection of like knickknacks type stuff, but like things like our home we've built together. So like living room, so couch and the coffee table and all this stuff. And a lot of it went like room by room on like Craigslist or our Facebook marketplace. But towards the end, we knew like we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. So we decided to have a garage sale, which our location wasn't ideal because we're like right on a big popular road and like we don't really have a driveway. So luckily we were on the main street, but we have like, I don't know, a couple of feet of grass before our house. And so we just set up there in like the common ground. But it was really interesting to be on the selling side, I guess, of a garage sale instead of the buying side. Because, when I go to garage sales, I'm looking at what are the items I want to buy, what's the best deals that I can get. And I've got a certain mode that I'm in. When I'm haggling, I got a certain mode. And as the seller, I'm kind of on the opposite end of it, right? So I'm thinking, one, anything that's really worth something on eBay, to me at least, I would have already sold on eBay or be in my eBay inventory. So I kind of felt bad for resellers that were coming. But I'm sure were still some that found some things that were more their niche and their style. And part of it was, cost benefit analysis. Like, it's not worth my time to try and list this stuff. I just need it gone. Man, you meet some interesting people at garage sales.
Like
that's
other
for
Mike
sure.
and Orlando's?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there was a few of those, but a lot of them came early and kind of just looked around, didn't see what they were looking for, and bounced. But man, like the stories, like we got some people who would like come and tell us, like we had this one older couple. The lady was there first, and she was buying a few things, and she decided that her husband needed to get this like tool set workbench thing that I had, and so she made him come, made me show him how to use it, and he was so embarrassed the whole time. He's like, I already know how to use this. I don't need to be shown. And she's like, no, show him how to use it right now. And so I'm like, okay. And so like, I'm in this awkward moment of like trying to teach this guy, and he's like, I don't need to be taught. And I'm like, okay, we're good. And she's like, no, you teach him right now before I buy it. And so like, it was really interesting, but I knew
but you never experienced that. And I've never seen that in a regular garage sale. Like, why yours?
I mean, I don't know. You're probably also not paying attention to a lot of things that are going on.
That is true. Because you're sourcing and you're trying to move on.
Yeah, you're kind of focused in your world. But man, there was some interesting people that we met, some cool things. I think a few weeks ago, my hustle of the week was an item that I sold, a motorcycle jacket. And the guy told me his story about, riding professionally in another country. And he was going back and was going to donate it, give it as a gift to a friend of his that lived in the country. So, you meet some interesting people, but I knew everything that didn't sell was going to the Salvation Army. So I was really one of those people that was willing to wheel and deal. Like the beginning of the garage sale, which I think there's some resellers that must know this, because at the beginning of the garage sale, I was a little more firm on prices.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end, it was like, basically take it, right? Like people would bundle a bunch of stuff and I'd say like, I don't know, $5, and they were happy to hand it over. There were some times I was like, and if you want anything else, just take it for free. Like anything, someone would ask me like, how much are your books? I said, as much as you can hold for a quarter, right? Like, wow. I just want it gone.
If only you were the consistent garage sale guy, like every garage sale I went to.
But if you were to go to garage sales at 1:00 on a Sunday, I only did a one day Saturday
1:00 on a Sunday.
But I mean, that's like, how a lot of times people are like Saturday, Sunday.
It goes to the end. Yeah.
So if people are, because everything that didn't sell was going to the Salvation Army, which I did. I loaded it all up, took it to the Salvation Army. So as it got close to the end, it was like, I'll pay you to take, like, I finally took our kitchen table and I put a free sign on it and I moved it out a little bit further away on the street. Sure enough, somebody stopped and picked it up. I'm not taking that thing is not going back in my house, and it's not going to the Salvation Army because I don't have room for it. Please just take it. Right. So something that starts off at $50 or $25 is like, I'll pay you to take it. Please. I don't want it. I wonder if
that just sounds overwhelming. Like the whole thing. Have I ever done a garage sale that we're going to ask?
Well, have you ever been to one like late where they're basically just, please take everything?
Yeah, but it's usually junk.
That's true.
I would say by that time, like there's a reason, first of all, why they're trying to get rid of it. Second of all, it's the end of the day, and that's why no one's picked it up. But you never know. Like I've been to garage sales towards the end, and there's some good, valuable stuff there still.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and that was one thing I knew about our garage sale is nothing that we had. I mean, there were a few things was like, when did we get this? Like, this is kind of a junky piece of, I don't know, pot or something, a pot and pan.
I'm glad you clarified that.
And it's like, man, this one's kind of beat up. I didn't even know we had this one. But for the most part, like my wife has got, really good tastes and she likes nice things. And so like the lamps that we had, like we were selling these like really nice lamps. They were like, we were selling them for $5 each and we probably paid like $50 each for them. They're really nice.
Did that hurt, or are you just happy to get rid of stuff?
We just wanted to get rid of it. But to be perfectly honest, you do get to a point where it's like, man, like, you're watching your life go away, like you watch a whole room of your house is now just empty and you kept maybe 5% of it. Right. And it's just gone. And yeah, you got a couple $100 in your pocket, but the memories and everything is gone. But it's part of what we wanted to do to go into where we're going. What about you?
Well, first of all, a couple of things to take away from Mike's garage sale experience. Number one is, remember, most people are trying to get rid of stuff at garage sales. That's why we're so big about garage sales, because we find that people are really willing to sell. And so that's how you're able to get the best ROI. Second part is the good stuff is usually right away, right? It's early, right? I hate it when I show up to a garage sale 30 minutes late. Not saying that there isn't profitable stuff. I've had some major scores like at 9 a.m., but there's always like that golden hour, right? And in San Diego, I find that it's like 7 and 9, but it's more like 7 to 8. Right, for the
I
most
find
part.
it's like 6 to 7:30.
That's true. It depends where you go, though. I mean, Mike goes to a different part because, he won't garage sale with me, but the parts he goes to, it is earlier. And the other part of it is that, ultimately, like, people, like, they just want to see you be able to be upfront, right? I think, did it bother you that, like, did you know they were a reseller? Did anybody say they were a reseller?
No, that's the weird thing. I mean, we had a few that like you could tell.
Like, did they take out their phones?
Yeah, we had a few people looking some things up. We had people, like I said, that were there really early that kind of just like looked over. They looked at stuff. They asked, "Do you have this? Do you have this?" And when we said no, they like left. So like people came looking for certain things. There were a few people who I feel like kind of tried to hide it. Like there were a lot of people that came for jewelry. So like my wife had a lot of costume jewelry.
Did they pull out the little monocle?
Yeah, we had a guy who had the right, and he's looking at stuff. And any jewelry that is worth anything we didn't have out there, it was just costume jewelry. Which there were a lot of people who came looking for and liked costume jewelry, knowing it wasn't like real silver. But I think one of the guys with the monocles bought a fake silver ring that he thought was real.
Ooh.
But we only sold it to him for $1. Like we didn't this is the same thing we were selling all the costume jewelry for. But like he was super excited about this one. He's like, "How much for this?" And we're like, "Oh, $1."
What if it was real? What if all this time, but Mike, what if all this time you thought it was fake, but it was real?
Yeah. What if we got a real silver ring and like one of those,
you'll never know.
What are those little like, I don't even remember what they're called, but in the mall, like the costume jewelry places.
Oh, that's where you got it from?
Yeah.
It's not like Claire's or something?
Yeah. Claire's. That's what I mean. Like, so yeah, I'm not concerned that Claire's accidentally had like, a $200, $300 ring in their inventory.
Right, okay. So I just, if you got it from Claire's, obviously it's not silver.
But, there's so many people who do that. Like, it makes me feel like, am I missing out on like not getting in the precious metals game?
I don't know. I mean, there's other tools too that you can use when you're out there. I don't do the precious metals, but I know some people that do. I actually, one of my good friends, that's pretty much all he does is precious metals. But he has it down where he can like find stuff super fast. But it takes time. I mean, it's a niche. I think if you want to, it's worth getting into. It just takes time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at so many garage sales where people roll up gold. Do you have any gold? Do you have any silver?
Really?
And they're like,
never
nope.
seen that.
Like,
that's
peace.
so wild. That's interesting. I've seen the Lego guy, the video game guy. Again, but
Nintendo.
I'm 100%. So two more things, and I'll get on to my life. One is, it's interesting. You'll notice this in the Hustle at Home mom interview. Like she always shares she's a reseller, right? I mean, she's not like, "Hey, everyone, like reseller here," but like she's able to get better deals. So I always want to encourage you guys, like when you're out there, most of the time it helps to say you're a reseller. And the second one is the thing about niches, right? Craigslist Center, that has stuck with me when he said, you should know at least 5 or 6, and then like every 6 months try to learn a new one. I think that's super valuable, especially when you're at garage sales and there might be the guy out there with their phone who's trying to research, but you don't need to research because you already know that niche, right? It's super powerful to you. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, good.
All right. So a few things. It seems like so much has happened. Like I feel like eBay Open was like we entered another dimension for a little while and then we returned back to reality. That's how I feel it was. So I got to a point where I was listing like crazy and the sales came in like crazy.
Yeah.
Like I will say
eBay, Amazon, both?
Both.
Okay.
I would say June was one of my best months I've had in a long time, which is kind of surprising.
Summer speed up?
Yeah, something like that. And again, I don't want to go out there and go like, yeah, what's summer slowdown? All I want to say is like, hey, the things we've talked about, like listing, sending offers, diversifying your sourcing, doing whatever you can to make sales, it works. At least it worked this last time. You know what I mean? And I think the good till canceled effect didn't affect things if you were consistent and you were active in your store and if you did promoted listings. I think promoted listings, and they cleared that up at eBay Open, that promoted listings keeps your stuff in the race. Okay, especially after 90 days. The other thing is Amazon Prime Day. Oh my.
Yeah. Fire.
Like, no, okay.
Fire.
There was a fire, but then like the woodshed got like extinguished. So what I mean is like major fire, but major returns like within a week.
Ooh, so there was like a blowback. It was like backdraft.
So yeah, kind of like that. So let's say it's throughout numbers. Let's say you made 10K, you should have been ready for like 1 to 2K in returns. That's kind of how it was. And so it hurt, but I had to think of the bigger picture, right? That I had tons of sales and that carried things. I mean, eBay open was sales were dead. Just that was my fault. I had all these drafts and I didn't even like make them go live. But the money I made at Amazon Prime was more than enough to cover, 1 or 2 months, and I was good. So I know a lot of people were going back and forth on Instagram, like I don't make any sales. Some people were like, it makes a lot of sales. I just think that Amazon, was the rising tide that raised all ships. And so even if you didn't have those lightning deals, even if you didn't have like those private label items, as long as you're priced competitively, like you made sales on those days.
Yeah. And because Amazon has some features built in that encourage people to spend more. Like right now they have, if you buy with your Amazon card, like depending on how much you spend, you get either 6 months, 12 months, 18 months equal pay. Right. So that's
interesting.
100% interest free. And then so let's say you spend $200 on something, you can get like the 12 months equal pay. But if you spend $500, you can get like 18 months of equal pay. And each time you buy stuff. So if you had like some things in your cart or you were thinking about and you were Prime Day and you were like buying a bunch of stuff, that would be the time to bundle in more things so you can get that equal pay or, so Amazon has some stuff built in to encourage people to spend more. And so, yeah, if people are already spending that day, I'm sure it did increase overall everybody, as long as you've got items that people are looking for.
Yeah. So I'll say, I wish I went harder in June. I mean, I did go hard. I mean, I made the majority of my money from Shopko closeouts and Office Depot closeouts, but I should have just been doing more of the, the other retail arbitrage because the velocity of sales, I felt like Q4. It was so nice. But hey.
Well, the nice thing is Prime Day comes every year, right?
It's true.
A new holiday.
That is true. So now, I do have an update on the other P platform. No, there's only one P platform on Poshmark.
Yeah, how's that going? You done with it?
I'm done.
Right, that's fair.
For now. Okay, here now, not just because Craigslist hunters had to be done with it. It's funny because some people DM'd us. Did you see that? And they're like, "Well, you got your validation," but listen, probably like 2/3 of the items that were on Posh sold on eBay for decent money, and I didn't have to share closets. I didn't have to do anything about it. Now, I will share later about some cross-posting tools that are now available, which I'm going to go back for a little bit and just test out the water. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah. And I think, Craigslist Hunter mentioned it, and I think it's right. Poshmark, when we put time into it, when my wife and I really started to put time into Poshmark, it's insane. Like there were a couple times where, you and I were doing things at eBay Open and my wife had some downtime. And so she just spent that time sharing closets, right? Like we didn't have things ready to list on eBay either. And we hadn't shared closets in like a month, and immediately sales started coming in on Poshmark, right? So it is, if you've got the time, so maybe it's time you have, but not, opportunity to source or whatever it is, Poshmark definitely can be it for you. So we're definitely not saying it's not a good thing. Like if that's your thing, it's great, but it's every platform's that way. The amount of energy and time you put into it is going to be what you get out of it.
I agree. I mean, again, if Poshmark was my only goal, there's some people that make a living off Poshmark. So it's totally doable. It's just right now, maybe with this cross-posting tool, like things will change.
But if you still have to share closets, I don't know if the cross-posting tool will help with that.
True. I mean, I'm kind of in this in-between right now because we've talked about this before, but with MUA, eBay's multi-user access, did I say that right?
Uh-huh.
Multi-user access account. That's what MUA stands for. Like, it's hard because with this listing tool that we'll talk about a little bit, like you can do multiple listings, but I will tell you, there's nothing better than using a program that's native to the original program.
Yeah. If you're not using like a third party, now third parties can be great. But there's always going to be hiccups, right? When there's an update to the system and things don't, the two systems don't always play nice together for a little while. And you run into problems. And if it's native in the program, you've got the support for it. If something goes wrong, you're not worried about, well, sorry, that was the third party, and the third party saying, no, that was eBay, so like I'm sure it does help. And yeah, the multi-user access, if you are going to have employees, I mean, it sounds like a huge benefit.
Oh, huge. Like, I'm already gonna start using, like, tomorrow I'm going sourcing. I'm dropping all that stuff off, and I'm gonna go through Mua with my helper, and she's gonna use it. I mean, and I've tried it myself. I signed myself up, and it was flawless. It worked really well. Okay. Do you have any random stories?
Yeah, I've got so many. I got a ton, but I mentioned a few podcasts ago, so I feel like I have to tell about the possum.
The possum?
I think
this is out of nowhere. This is not even in our notes, the possum.
Yeah. Well, I thought I mentioned it. Well, so at the garage sale, my wife and I, I was sitting on a rocker chair. So like the little front yard that we have is on a hill. So I'm on a rocker chair and she's on like this wingback chair, and we're both like tilted forward, and like, it's really weird. And so we just looked awkward sitting on the front on these chairs, and we're watching this lady, and it was weird because our garage sale was really close to an estate sale. Like the estate sale was just around the corner from us, and all the signs for the estate sale were right by us. So we had so many people walk up to our sale and say, oh, is this the estate sale? And we'd say, no, this is a garage sale. The estate sale's around the corner. They would just leave and go to the estate sale. So there were a few times I was like, yeah, just come on in,
Yeah.
But this one lady who like would not come into our garage sale. She just wanted to go to the estate sale, wouldn't even look at our stuff. So I was already kind of like, man, that's weird. Then she runs across the street and gets in her car. And my wife's like looking over there. She's like, what is that underneath her car? Right. And she's like, is that like a bag or? And we see something.
You should have made this an Instagram story. It would have been epic.
And there's like, at first I couldn't tell what it was, but there's something moving like by the engine of her car. And then I'm like, it's like an animal, like a cat or something. And then it's crawling out of her engine, right? Backing out of it. Okay. So it's like, she gets in her car and she starts it up.
You live in San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't see possums here very often. And she starts the car up. And so it starts to pull itself back in. And we see the long possum tail. And I'm like, that's a possum. And it's like crawling into her car. And she starts to pull off. And I'm like running out in the street, like trying to stop her with my hands. And she just like mad dogs me as she's driving away. And I'm like,
you don't blow her a kiss? Remember the episode?
Yeah. I'm like, there's a possum in here. And all I could see is like, this poor possum. Like, but I'm assuming because we live in the city, like,
yeah,
there's no possums, there's no fields around us. So I'm assuming that wherever she lives from, like wherever she lives and came from, she brought the possum in her car, and the possum was like, I'm out of here. But before it could fully get out of the car, she's driving away. And so I'm like, well, I hope it makes it back home, But so that was one of the interesting things we saw while we were out there. So it's kind of random.
It's reselling related, kind of.
Yeah, we're having a garage sale, and
there you go.
It's all possum.
You got possum in the middle of San Diego.
Which, like, yeah, some of our listeners might be like, I see possums all the time. But, for the city to see a possum crawling out of an engine of a car.
No, you do live like, I live out, it's a little country. So I could see there being a possum. But where you're at, there's no, where did that come from?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? That's so crazy. Okay.
What about you?
Well, I got a couple stories. They're not, they are reseller related. So one was I want to just share this because these are just tips to use at estate sales, and it's common knowledge, but sometimes reminders are good. So I went to this estate sale, and where I live, it's like very much like country, right? Like cowboy boots, cowboys, rodeos, and stuff like that. It's in San Diego, by the way. Like a lot of people, when they see my IG stories, they're like, where are you? Right? But if you go East County, San Diego, like it's a different world. So I go to this estate sale, and the reason I do is because in the pictures they showed on Craigslist, which I still use Craigslist to research garage sales. Do you still do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's my number one way of looking. I'm going to use Yard Sale Treasure Map, but
it goes back to Craigslist.
Goes back to Craigslist. Yeah.
So they had cowboy boots, and they had Harley gear, and they had everything. So I show up, and I'm like, whoa, like no one has touched this stuff. Like it's the second day. And I don't know, maybe other stuff got picked up, but there's all kinds of Harley gear, and there's all these cowboy boots in the closet, and some of them are, I think you say Lucchese or Lucchese. Oh, I hope I said that right. I know it's not. I know it's not Lucchese. That's just terrible. And so all these boots were there, And they were high priced. They were like $30, $24. I mean, high price for me, $20. And then I went to the real estate lady and I said, hey, I know it's the second day. Are you guys going to are you guys going to drop prices? They're like, no, the owner really wants them at this. And then I just I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. But I wonder if I offered on all of them, if I can make a deal. So then I keep walking around and then I hear somebody else in Spanish going, si vuelvo a dar una, me das en medio precio. That's terrible Spanish, by the way, those of you that listen to Spanish. And it's basically what they were saying is like, hey, if I come back at one, will I be able to get this at half price? And she said yes in Spanish. So I'm like, number one, I'm glad I know Spanish. Number two, they're still willing to wheel and deal, right? I mean, So I'm like, all right, let's try this again. So I go, hey, listen, if I buy everything, if I buy all your Harley gear, all your cowboy boots, are you willing to work with me? And she goes, yeah, I'll give you 30%. I'm like, what? Like out of nowhere. I go, listen, I'm buying all of it. How about 50%? She goes, you know what? I could do 50% on all the cowboy stuff and 30% on the Harley. And I go, I go, does it have to be all the Harley? Because you got like this leather jacket for like $400 and I don't know if I want to spend that much on this jacket. And they said yes. And I'm like, what? Like this is, so again, if you go into an estate sale, like it doesn't hurt to ask, because what happened out of that conversation, I gave her my business card. She gave me my business card and she was going to give me a call later if the Harley stuff was available. Don't know if it wasn't or wasn't. I never got a call back, but I made a major deal. But here's the other thing. So I have all these boots, right? Now, you've had it, right? You get that reseller envy, right? You see somebody walking out with stuff and you're like, what? And this other guy comes in and he's like, hey, you sure you got enough money for all that? I'm trying to be humble and modest. I'm like, I'm good. I got the money. I go, really? Like, you think I'd come in here and make this kind of deal? And he's like, well, I don't know. Maybe you don't have enough cash to pay for all of this. And I was like, okay, whatever. So, but here's the thing. If I had stepped away from that estate sale, if I had to go to the bank and get cash out, that guy might have come in and, taken all that stuff. So 2 tips out of this. Number 1, always go for the bigger bulk deal. And here's what's interesting. I had to buy a couple boots that had holes in them. But I bought everything for $134. I sold one of the boots with holes in them for like $40.
Wow.
So I'm still good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the other one is make sure you have enough cash, right? Because you never know. I mean, had it cost me, more, I would have been okay. But people, I've done it myself where like, I'm like, hey, if that guy doesn't come back, like I'm willing to pay this for it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's starting to get easier. Certain garage sales where you don't have to necessarily have cash. Like I remember my big Department 56 haul. I had already done a lot of shopping throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And when I first started going to garage sales, it was like, all right, I'm going to bring $20, right? And I'm like, this is big. I'm going out and I'm spending, right? And then it was like, all right, after doing pretty good for a few weeks, I'm like, I'm going with $100 that I'm willing to spend.
With a hundo.
Yeah. And it starts to go up, right? Like as you start to realize like I need capital, right? Like I need to have the money available because you never know what you'll find. When I made that deal with all of those Department 56 items, I go into my wallet and I don't have enough. And I'm like, oh no, I know I have some more money in the car. And I go and I count, it's not enough. And I'm like, this is not good, right? Because I was worried, like if I have to drive away, you never know, right? Like, or maybe I give them a deposit and I come back and like, you know what? We thought about it. It's not. So luckily the ladies at the garage sale accepted Venmo and I was able to just Venmo them right there. But yeah, you never know. It's important to have that money. Oh, I've got one more quick random story I'm just going to throw in there.
Wow. Okay. It's a good thing we've changed up our episode breakdown because we're just dropping stories. All right, go ahead.
So speaking of Venmo, one of the things we sold in our house was like this like coffee bar that we made. It was like an old dresser that we painted like that chalk paint white. And we like put a glass piece on the top and nice knobs and painted them gold. And we sold it for $80 on Facebook Marketplace, mostly because we needed to get rid of it quickly. And the guy, they brought a U-Haul to pick it up. We loaded in. He goes to Venmo me. As soon as he sends it to me, he goes, oh no. And I looked down at my phone. He sent me $800.
Nice.
Right?
I mean,
so I
obviously-
said, too bad. And I left. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't do that.
No, you didn't
So
do
I
that.
instantly was like, no, don't worry, it happened. So I refunded him $720. I didn't refund, I just paid him $720. And then as I walked in the house, I'm like, I wonder if this is like some kind of scam. I was like, did he just like get
Oh, that is true.
$720 from
Yeah.
me and my dresser? But then luckily it all worked out. But I was like, man, it's you can easily mess up on Venmo too. So be careful.
No, I hear you. So no, but I agree. Like you know what though? I do find that the garage sales that have like Stripe or have Venmo, whatever, they end up being pricier,
I could see that.
right? But maybe that would be awesome because, again, I'm not a fan of carrying cash. Yeah, I never carry cash, like only at garage sales, right? So who knows? But okay, I want to share. Okay, I have one more thing to share. So I always talk about how like we're more than resellers, right? We're either personal shoppers or treasure hunters. We connect people with their past. And so yesterday I had someone send me an offer and it was on a Harley hat. And this hat is like, it's vintage, but it looks vintage. Do you get what I'm saying? Like stains and everything. And it's all for a good price. And I knew it would sell. But he goes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this awesome, hat. I'm so thankful. I'm like blown away. Like, dude, like, do you know what you're getting? And he's like, I used to wear that hat back in the 80s and it means so much to me. I'm like, awesome. He's like, yeah, I'm about to, hopefully win an auction on another hat that I used to wear. And then he messages me, oh, I lost out on that one. I go, and he sends me a picture of it. And I go, you know what? If I find this hat, I will contact you. And I've had that before where I've had a seller, like I have somebody right now that buys Dr. Pepper hats. And whenever I have a Dr. Pepper hat, she'll buy it from me. So I know to go directly to her. And so it's good to develop like this database of people that are repeat buyers in certain items. So then he goes, oh, that'd be awesome if you find that shirt. Look forward to doing business with you again. And he goes, check this out. So he sends me a picture from the 80s of him and his son, like full on stash and this sweet Harley hat. And it's the one that I sold him. And I'm like, I love what I do. Like it meant a lot to me. Like, he was just so excited about getting this hat that he lost a long time ago. And I found this like in some random bin sitting on the bottom. And who knew that this would, bring a bigger ROI of not just a profit, but hey, I was able to connect somebody with something from the past.
And who knows, it might have been his hat.
That's next level. Like,
whoa.
If he comes back to me and goes, this is my hat.
It has my initials on the inside.
That would be crazy. But you never know. You never know. So anyways, we're more than resellers.
Yeah.
We connect people with their past in a good way.
Yeah. So like we're kind of like psychologists.
We're therapists.
We're therapists.
All right. Anyways, we did a podcast through therapy back in the day.
Yeah.
So, all right. That is our random stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a sound effect for reselling topics?
For updates? It should just be like breaking news. Yeah.
That one? Okay. All right. So, we'll talk about eBay Open a little bit. We already talked about Amazon Prime Day. Here's what I learned about Amazon Prime Day. I didn't know that Amazon doesn't share their numbers. Did you know that about Prime Day? Like they share Black Friday, I think, but they won't share about Prime Day.
Huh. I mean, they're going to end up sharing their quarterly report. So you could probably guesstimate what Prime Day did for their revenue and gross income. But yeah, I mean, maybe it makes sense if they're blowing it up into this like artificial holiday and maybe it's not quite as big as or worth it as, they try to make it. Who knows the reasons for not? I mean, because part of it too is they're trying to make sure that they're a valuable company for their stockholders and stuff like that. So if they were to say, hey, Prime Day numbers were lower than anticipated, that wouldn't look good.
No, I get it. It was interesting to me because like they had, what's going on? Oh, I need to talk. So if you're listening to the podcast, Mike just pointed that I needed to talk to the microphone. So I hope it sounds better now. But here's what happened. They had a lot of Prime like sign up, and Prime's like $120 now.
Yeah, it's super expensive.
I was kind of shocked, but
I used to get the student discount back when I was in college. That was nice. It was like $79.
I do remember. There's also, isn't there like a parent discount?
A parent discount?
I remember working that when I was like I shouldn't say this, but I think there was a time that I tried to work that, and I did. I had a kid. They were just in the works.
What?
What
are you talking about?
No, like at that time, my wife was pregnant, so we're like, hey, we have a kid. I think that was valid.
All right.
Anyways, okay. So still, it was huge for everybody, right? So just real quick, I'll read this from Forbes. On Forbes, should I just take the mic off the stand? No? Okay, not going to do that. All right. Said that Prime Day officially became the Black Friday of the summer, with rivals from Walmart to Best Buy vying with Amazon for their own deals. Retailers with over $1 billion annual sales saw their sales on average jump 68%. That's intense, right? And even eBay had their sales. Now, I didn't see a lot of eBay sales. Did you see a lot of eBay sales on Prime Days?
Not more than the usual.
Maybe if we had new items, we would have had those.
Yeah, it was just a few.
So, but it basically means that, hey, Prime Day, like maybe if you're selling on other platforms, you're selling new items, it's just not an Amazon thing. And maybe that'll change even more, right? So anyways, that's what I'll say about Prime Day. It's just one of those. I already said my piece. It's definitely worth your time, especially if, you're doing a lot of FBA on the side, but you only pick it up over Q4. Maybe it's worth picking up before Prime Day. So, all right. But here's the other sad part about Amazon. And this isn't Mike's going to get a shipment together. I think you were motivated today.
Yeah. Our talk with Hustle at Home Mom really got me a little more pumped about doing Amazon. So
she was a real deal. I'm telling you, like her interview. Here's the thing. I think all our interviews are going to be real, right? Like I just get that sense. But her discussion about Amazon, I think is just if you just listen to that, listen to the whole episode. But if you just listen to that and you're thinking about Amazon, it's gold. Yeah. So, but here's the deal. So Amazon is no longer doing like FBA shipments through FedEx, which is a big deal. And most of you who do Amazon know this already, but I would save probably like $20 to $30 on shipping every time I had a shipment go out. If I ship out 52 weeks a year, that's a lot of money I'm losing. Right? So I don't know. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. That's the hard thing, right? If you do Amazon, you only have so many options, right? If you do eBay, you have a plethora of options about shipping and how to ship and what you ship. But Amazon, it's like you got to do what they say. So
nice use of the word plethora.
Did it work?
Sure.
It didn't work?
No, it's good. It's just,
come on, English major. Did it work?
It worked. It's
okay.
Just, I mean, who says plethora?
You know what? This is part of our level up review, right? We're reading these books, and maybe plethora was in our last book.
Maybe.
Right? Hey, by the way, in our next level up review, what are we reading?
Yeah. The
you just forgot.
The 4-hour work week, which, to be honest, I started to dig in a little bit. I still think it's going to be a good book, but I'm interested to see how much I'm going to get out of it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
This might be.
Well, we're going to put a link to the book we're using for level up review that's dropping in 2 weeks. So Tim Ferriss's 4-hour work week.
4-hour work week.
Okay, so that's all I got to say about that. But here's what I got to say. In addition to Amazon, is that eBay's coming for Amazon, but in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things
we talked about this.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about, which was interesting, is eBay is looking to do a managed delivery, right? So it's going to look similar to kind of the Amazon Prime style of shipping, right? Where you're going to ship into a warehouse, they'll kind of manage the inventory, and when it sells, it goes.
I got a little different info though.
Okay,
I got new updates.
Let's hear it.
So what I've in my investigations, so this is what happens when you have an MA in history. Like you always got to research stuff, always. So I guess Amazon is being different than, eBay is being different than Amazon, right? So Amazon uses kind of what we call a vertical integration model. You know what I mean? Like you buy everything that you're going to use. So if you're going to use a warehouse, you make the warehouse, you buy the warehouse. If you have the vehicles, like Amazon right now, right, has vans that they're like, you can get a job and you can start your own Amazon van business. Did you know about that?
Yep.
Okay. So eBay is instead sourcing it out. So they're going through different like logistic companies. So it's going to be interesting. Do you get what I'm saying? So they're going through different companies for their shipping, different companies for like their warehouse. That's what all the latest buzz is about.
Huh. I mean, that's interesting. I think one of the things that
like
Well, I
That's
mean,
good.
yeah, I mean, we'll see how it all plays out. I just think that like for the type of reselling that we typically do for the most part, I don't think managed delivery is going to be a huge thing. 'Cause it seems like it's going to be more if you can get bulk buys of items sent in. It doesn't really seem like it's going to be the one-off. You've got a VCR, you're sending it in. You've got a rare bottle of cologne. It kind of the vibe I got was you sent in if you had almost more like either private label or if you had a lot of items, like you've got hundreds of a unit, it would get sent in and they'd kind of manage it that way. Is that kind of the vibe you got on it too?
I did, but what I wanted to add to that, the reason I brought that up is that they're, outsourcing or going to third party was that, right now, like this FedEx thing to me is a huge hit, right? Well, if eBay is doing this, that means that there'll be greater competition amongst those third party groups to make, to get the bid, right? Which I think in the end I believe will give, and I don't want to go too much, but I think it will provide a challenge to Amazon because if eBay is able to get this rolling, right, which is going to take time. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time, right? But if it's cheaper to send stuff in, right, and the interesting thing is that CEO Devin Wenig was very clear that we're not going to deliver paper towels in 4 minutes, right? They're going to take their time. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But if it provides a different model and certain people are willing to go to eBay, I think it'll just open another platform for, retail arbitrage and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but I just get the sense. I'm always a fan that the more competition's out there, as far as, places for us to sell, the better it is for us.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I also though think that, and we talked about it, in past podcasts, eBay and Amazon are different, and CEO of eBay made those comments, but it still seems like they want to capture that new item audience. They want to be the place people go for when it's like, oh, I need a new, light bulb, or I need new paper towels, or whatever, all the stuff you get on Amazon. But I feel like what makes eBay unique is the unique one-off items, right? And so I don't know, like I almost feel like all of their marketing should be on that. Like all of their effort should be to that type of selling, because then that people are going to go looking for that. Now, again, I don't know all the numbers, and I do think they make a lot of money off of those new type items. But I think if they were to say Amazon has this field, we're going a different direction, and we're going to capture, and we're going to destroy Mercari, and we're going to destroy
Wow.
Poshmark.
I hope they don't use words like destroy.
Well, but I mean, like those are the competitions. Like they are the ones that are selling more like us. Like we want to be the place people go to, even for the local game. Like instead of Facebook Marketplace, like we do this well. We already connect buyers to sellers of like one-off unique items really well. Let's be the premier of that instead of like, I feel like you're chasing a giant when you're trying to go after Amazon.
No, I agree. And to add to that, I think when that will be most effective is in a recession, right? Like, hey, do you need to find goods for cheaper? We're here for you, eBay, right? Because Amazon, like, there's nothing cheap on Amazon. Like every once in a while you'll find something, but most of the time, like if you're trying to find something that's, it's sent in by something like Orlando, it's going to cost money.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I'm surprised so many people buy that kind of stuff on Amazon. Like when I buy stuff on Amazon,
it's convenient.
Well, I mean, it is convenient to an extent, but like for instance, when I was trying to do the retail arbitrage and I'm in Target scanning things or whatever, Amazon is almost always cheaper. Almost always cheaper.
That is true. When they own a product, like when they have the right, yeah, I get that.
So, like the people who aren't going to Walmart and Target to buy stuff and are just doing all of their shopping online are going to go to Amazon over eBay because it's easy, it's guaranteed to be able to get all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I think, even like my family, we prefer not to like go to a bunch of different places. Like we do most of our shopping at Costco, but it's like, there's some things you can't get there. So we also have to go to Trader Joe's. But then it's like, but then there's that one
so you gotta go
brand
to Target.
that you have to go to, you know what I mean? So it's easier if it's like, okay, well, how can we consolidate to just one place? I think Amazon is that one place for that type of shopping that people do. So if eBay is trying to break into that market, people are going to say, well, I might be able to get some things on eBay cheaper, But then some things on Amazon, I could just get everything on Amazon, right? I can't get everything on eBay. That worries me about them chasing that model. But I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, but what if we can send in used items?
Yeah, that would be great.
I mean, if you're like in an apartment or you're in a condo like we are, like,
oh, that would be the dream. Like, honestly, if they were to do that, if they were to say like, you can send in anything, right? Like, and I think it should be like box sizes. And here's the way, if
like you take the picture, like we take the pictures and everything.
Yep, and package it and send it to them.
Yeah, like we make the listing and we just send it.
And I think it should be like this. Again, what do I know?
We don't even know. Like we're all theorizing right now.
I don't know anything. But this is, if I could have my perfect world with this, it would be eBay pays for the boxes and it's based off box sizes, right? So you take the item, you take the pictures, you stick it in the box, it's packaged, you send it to them, and like you pay for like, you know, maybe 10 cents a month for like a big box to store, and you pay X, like, right? So you pay per box size, but then all of the boxes are already like dimensioned easily. So it all stacks and stuff. It's not going in different. You don't have to worry about them packaging your items and breaking them. And you just pay per box that sits in the warehouse until it sells. Like that would be, I mean, if you didn't have to keep your own inventory and you could just package it up in a free eBay box and send it to them. Cause that was one of the things they said is they want eBay boxes to be going out because that's free marketing, right? Like if there's an eBay box on almost every doorstep in America every day, that's huge. So give us those boxes for free and just let us pay a percentage of like whatever that box size is per month of storage. Like that would be the dream.
Well, I'm sure they've thought all this through. So I'm interested to see what they came up with. You know, I'm positive about it.
Me too.
I think competition will either cause eBay to go next level or it'll cause Amazon to go next level. You know what I'm saying? And
which is good for buyers, but is it always good for sellers? That's the question.
Yeah, because they want to keep us happy too.
Well, no, they want to keep us happy.
Especially Amazon right now. Like they love third party.
But as the cost of goods get faster and cheaper, the profit margins for sellers oftentimes go down.
That is true. I can't disagree with that.
So I mean, but at the same time, the cost of your living will go down because the items you're buying are cheaper. So it ends up breaking even, you know, so
yeah,
not a bad thing. It's good for the economy. That is for sure.
Okay. The other item, and we already talked about this, the eBay MUA, the multi-user access account tool. So if you haven't had a chance, maybe I'll put this in our highlights on our Instagram. So if you're trying to figure out where to go, it's really simple. You go to My eBay, you click on My eBay, then that'll take you to that screen where like it has like your orders if you bought anything from eBay on the right, and then on the left it says like My account, whatever. Click on account, then it'll take you to the next screen where there's a box, and that's where you have like your business policies and so on. The last option will say permissions. Click on that, and then that'll take you to MUA. Right? So it's not that hard to find. It's just, you know, I'm sure there's a YouTube video that's already been made, but I want to help you guys out because I think it's a really big deal. Now, I want to take this opportunity. If you haven't had a chance, make sure to follow us on Instagram. We are Pure Hustle Podcast. We're always, you know, dropping knowledge, sharing stories, you know, detailing our journey that sometimes we aren't able to do on the podcast. We're Pure Hustle Cast on Twitter. We are Pure Hustle Podcast on Facebook. If you want to give us a call, share your hustle of the week, or just have a question, we're 619-738-1170. That's 619-738-1170. And you can shoot us an email if you want. purehustlepodcast@gmail.com. That's purehustlepodcast@gmail.com. And if you ever want to say thank you in a monetary way, again, we appreciate it. We always love it when it comes in because we're like, wow, like people actually, you know, want to send a dollar or two, or we've had some decent ones. We have a PayPal link below. And yeah, hey, thank you again for the review. The reviews keep coming in, right?
Yeah,
and
that's super helpful. I mean, honestly, more than anything, that really helps us out to when you like our videos, when you give a comment, when you leave a review, especially on iTunes, it helps get our name out there, and it helps, you know, validate that what we're doing is legitimate, and, you know, it encourages us too. You know what I mean? It's kind of that.
It does.
You know, oh, okay.
Well, I'm good with it.
Keep doing this.
Yeah, no, it's good. So thank you all. And if you ever want to get a chance, it's the iTunes. You do have to have an iTunes account. Somebody had DM me about that. But once you have that account, you can go in there, you can write a review, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully. So appreciate every one of you. Have we talked about it? We're at 10K followers on Instagram too.
Woo, woo.
So it's because of you guys. I mean, seriously, like we're just in shock.
Straight up.
And
10K. because you guys are awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you
in a
so
good
much.
time. Listens are going up, views on YouTube, subscribers. So thank you all for your continued support. Really, really appreciate it. Okay. Do we want to talk about seller protections? I know we talked about that a little bit. Is there anything else we want to add that we missed? Oh, we missed one thing before we seller protections. Pay-per-click.
Ugh.
What?
Ugh.
Okay.
Ugh.
You don't like it.
Ugh.
Yeah, okay. So whoa, okay.
All right. So promoted listings on steroids. That's what this is. It's premium. It's premium promoted listings. And instead of you pay when it sells, which is then it's validation that, hey, that was worth it for me to promote it.
Agreed.
Is you pay per click. So it pushes it up to the top. So the other one isn't going away. Promoted listings isn't going away.
I wonder how that's going to play out though. Like, is the pay-per-click going to be higher than the promoted listing?
I think it's probably going to take them a while to figure out which is bringing in the most money.
Pay-per-click's going to bring money.
I mean, I'm sure it will, but if pay-per-click brings in, like, let's say on average 2% per item sales price, and the average promoted listing people are doing are 3.5%. You know what I mean? Like,
I
so
get it. Yeah.
I think it's going to take a little bit of time to really figure out those metrics, and the algorithm is going to constantly be adjusting to meet that. But yeah, so this way is even, so right now you only pay on a promoted listing if they buy it when it's in that promoted listing spot, clicking on a promoted listing. Now, anytime somebody clicks on your account or clicks on your item that's in that promoted listing spot, you pay even if they don't.
If you opt in for, it's not automatic. You have to opt in.
You opt into this special type of promotion. Okay, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe this is going to be like a game changer, and it's a small percentage to pay, and it really ups your level, and it gets you up to the top, and it's worth it. I just worry that, I mean, maybe there's a learning curve on our side too. Like, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to promote an item with a pay-per-click. You're going to end up with a click-through rate that is not worth.
You got to be super careful. I mean, on Amazon, it's a big deal in Q4. I mean, I've looked at it. I almost did it. I just didn't. I just felt that my sales were good enough. Like, I didn't feel I needed to. But I think I'm going to toy around with it more. But what scares me about pay-per-click, and if you're an Amazon seller that does pay-per-click and it works out great, please let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say, because I always go, man, that could be a runaway train.
Yeah. Here's the way I always look at something like that. I used to wrestle a little bit in high school, and
another fun fact from Mike.
One of the things that people didn't understand about wrestling was like why people would cut weight. And they'd always say, well, like, just wrestle where you're at. If everybody just wrestled at the weight they were at, nobody had to cut weight, then it would be like fair, which is true until the guy a weight class above you works really hard to cut some weight, doesn't drink water for a day, really, works on dropping that 10 pounds just for the weigh-in, and then wrestles you, and you're going to get stomped. So you have to do that in order to be competitive. So what I think happens is it forces everybody to like, you have to keep stepping it up in order to be competitive. And I worry a little bit with the pay-per-click is if you're the only one doing it or one of the few people doing it, it might be totally worth it. And you might be blowing your competition out. But then eventually all your competition is going to have to do it. And then now everybody's doing pay-per-click. Now you have the exact same chances of selling an item as you did before the pay-per-click, but now you're getting taxed on your sales. You know what I mean? It kind of just becomes another tax.
But here's what I'll say. So pretty much everything I would say that was unveiled at eBay Open was awesome.
Yeah, amazing. Like,
it was
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, but it's gonna change things. Like managed delivery is gonna change things. The image cleanup, which to me was so legit,
it was so cool.
But here's the thing: you're gonna have to take better pictures, right? Especially if while there's that transition phase where it's only the first picture for a little bit, right? But ultimately, everybody's going to have the same pictures, right? And if there's pay-per-click, everybody's going to have, those advantages. Everybody's promoted listings. So what does that mean? You got to source better, right? You got to source items that people want, whether that means you got to source, with the lower cost. Like, ultimately, the days of, and you got to offer other perks, free returns, free shipping. I know people hate hearing that, but it's going to get to a place where you're going to have to find how to get that edge. And to me, it's kind of like what Pete said in his interview with us, that he doesn't do promoted listings. And he was basically like, well, if you have stuff that people are going to want, you're not going to need promoted listings, right? So again, it's going to go, I think ultimately it's going to land on sourcing, and you have stuff that people want and they're willing to pay, and it's going to be different than the competition.
Yeah, I hope so. I just hope it doesn't turn into you basically have to use promoted listing or the premier promoted listing in order to get sales, because then if everybody's doing it.
See, I'm there with promoted listings though.
I think it's almost like back to the days of like pay per image, right? Like, you know how that was kind of like
those are so old. Yes, I remember those days. That was so weird.
So I kind of feel like it's almost that same thing where it's like, yeah, it's worth it to pay for that extra image, because if you have more images in your competition, you'll sell. Well, everybody's maxing out their images, so everybody was paying more for their listings. So basically, it was just you pay the overall price was higher to list.
Yeah. Okay. No. I remember those. It was frustrating. Like, you think about that now, this sounds so antiquated, right? But I think it's because, as technology moves forward, like everything's becoming free, right?
Yep.
I mean, to me, I think it's still weird now that you got to pay for different tiers of like internet speed. Right.
Yeah.
I think the day is going to come where like that's going to be a non-issue, but that's not what
Hopefully.
This podcast is about. I don't know. But again, hey, to me, it's again, all good things. Really appreciate what eBay is doing. Again, we're not sponsored by eBay. To me, like, not just because we went to eBay Open, but with the latest send offer, which I know some people had said, well, Posh had that. I get it, but I'm just thankful that we have it now.
Yep.
Right? That all these things to me have been all for the most part, like amazing steps that I haven't seen done in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? No, it was great. You could definitely tell that there's a lot of steps moving in the right direction. And, every company, every person's going to swing and miss occasionally. But I think it was very clear that eBay, cares about the seller and wants to make sure that we're making more money. Because let's be real, when you're making more money, eBay's making more money. Mm-hmm. And that's in the best interest of everybody. So,
yeah. And I loved it. Did we talk about this in another podcast? How like the VP of seller experience, Harry Temkin, had said that like he knows that there's pages that look like they're from the 1990s.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's like, anytime you see the purple page, like, it's old school.
Yeah. But what he said, which was encouraging to me, is like, we know that's there, but all these other things are priority right now. So we're not going to spend our time on things that aren't as important. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good for them to recognize that their time and energy is better spent in an area that's actually going to improve seller experience and buyer experience and ultimately make more money. Yeah. It's good stuff.
So if you're wondering, you're kind of lost on some of the stuff we're talking to, you can go back to, we have 2 episodes from eBay Open with lots of information there. So go check them out if you're kind of lost on what we're talking about. All right. I wanted to talk about cross-posting applications or whatever, third parties. There's 2, right? We got approached by one. Do you remember their name?
Was it Sellhound?
Sellhound. And then there's Vendoo. Vendoo. Yep. So Sellhound right now. So a lot of you may know this, but they're in beta. Now they're live, but it's eBay. Right now it's just eBay. But what they do is I think you tell them the item or you just give them pictures of the item and they will like do everything for you. Right? Huh. Vendoo, on the other hand, right now, Sellhound eventually is going to get to a place where like you can list on Posh and I believe on Etsy. I could be wrong. You can check out their website. And we're supposed to, we got a phone call. So we're supposed to talk to some Sellhound folks in a little bit too. And we'll get more information. And we've known about Sellhound for a little bit. We just haven't discussed it here too much. We did, I think, one podcast. And they're going to get to a place where you can like list on all these platforms by using this third party, right? So it's kind of like Inkfrog was to eBay, but now you can do it on different platforms. Same thing with Vendoo. So Vendoo, they were nice enough and they're all, not nice enough. They're super nice and awesome that they sent Mike and I both beta, access. And so we're going to be trying it out. We'll give you an update on the next update episode. And so Orlando will be listening on Poshmark, but I'll be doing it through Vendoo and just, giving our feedback on how it was. And, so far I've done it a few times and it's pretty streamlined.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is like, okay, so if 90% of the sales you get on Poshmark, just to give an example, comes from sharing closets, that's still 10% that come naturally without having to share closets, which means if you're already posting to eBay, if every item you post to eBay is just getting posted on Poshmark, that's going to increase your overall sales.
Yeah.
You know, it might be a small percentage, but if it's no extra work for you using something like Vindoo, I'll take it.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it's just all things I got to think about, right? Because now there's also Mua. So, you know, you got to just, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I appreciate the innovation of the Vindoo team of Sellhound, of these, you know, trying to make cross posting a lot easier.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that, you know, because I can't be as quick as Sell Quick, Ship Quick. Like, have you seen their cross posting?
Yeah.
Like, they're next level. So, anyways, if you're listening, you guys should make a video on that. Just throwing it out there. So, all right. So that's our current topics.
Yeah, current topics.
I mean, I'm sure there's more. I think we're just so in eBay open mind still.
It's hard to get out of that.
All right. Do we want to share some bolos?
Bolo.
Okay. Now we shared some of this on the live. It's okay to share the same ones again.
I think so. Yeah. If you watched our Instagram live, you got an exclusive to our bolos, which, you know, hey, make sure you're subscribed to our Instagram, right? Like, follow us on Instagram. We're always dropping stuff. If you heard it already,
all 50 people, but hey, they got VIP
exclusive
access.
Yeah. Free VIP.
There you go. All right. What do you got?
Okay. So this one's kind of interesting. So I still don't think I brought one in the room. I'll have to bring one sometime in case you haven't seen it. So, my area where I live is one of the first areas that got Amazon Fresh, right? And if you don't know, Amazon Fresh is a delivery service for food. And it was great because they were one of the first ones to do it. And they kind of actually made all of the other, you know, places around here have to start doing free delivery and stuff like that. But if you signed up for it, which I think it was like, it wasn't too expensive. It was like $15 each delivery, or like you paid $50 a month. I don't remember what the price was. You can get these deliveries, and it was all the food. You ordered it on Amazon. When they first started the program, they came in these bags that were amazing. They're like these canvas green bags that fold up really, really small, like flat. And then you can open them up and like a cardboard piece goes down in the bottom, and they're really sturdy and they have sturdy handles. And man, those things could carry, like, they'd shove milk and soda cans. So it'd be like a 50-pound bag, and that bag can handle it, right? Really nice. Looks like a box kind of square bag.
So like IKEA bags, but better.
Oh yeah. IKEA bags are like flimsy. Like, these things are sturdy all the way around. It's like, imagine like carrying a box, okay, but with handles. And it's covered in canvas, so there's no cardboard. It's weatherproof. Like, it can be rained on. It's got flaps that fold down and Velcro.
That is intense. I've never seen these bags, but
I'll have to show you. We used a bunch of them for our move. So anyways, when they would come with a little thing that's like, if you would like to return this bag on your next delivery, leave it outside and we'll collect them and when we drop off the next ones. It wasn't mandatory though. They didn't force you to drop off bags. Like, you could keep some, you could return some. I mean, they were Amazon branded, so people who were using them were advertising for Amazon. Anyways, I used to tell my wife, like, these are really nice bags. Like, we should keep a few. And she's kind of a minimalist already. She's not very sentimental about things, doesn't like collecting things. So she's like, no, we don't need these bags. So I'd occasionally, every delivery or two, I'd keep one bag and shove it away in a corner. Like, I need this bag, right? So I had like 10 of them saved up, and we used them for the move. And I was like, you know what? I wonder if I could buy more of these bags, because I finally convinced her how great they were. We look them up on eBay, and they're selling for like $30 to $40 a piece.
Really? That is interesting.
Because Amazon
bags on eBay.
Yeah. Because Amazon Fresh stopped using those bags like 6 months into the program. Then they went to like a brown paper bag type bag. Okay. They switched. And as soon as they switched, I was like, oh no, like, we'll never get those green bags again. But I assumed they've got to be on eBay for pretty cheap, $5 a bag. No. They're like $30 a bag. And I'm like, oh man, we should have kept them, because we had so many deliveries come through Amazon. I don't know what all the ethics are on keeping all those, but it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like a Blockbuster where like you had to return it before you got the next ones. It was like, if you would like to return these bags. So
that is an interesting bolo.
Yeah. So
that's a good bolo.
The reason I say it's a bolo is you might already have some sitting around your house if you had Amazon Fresh and you had those green bags, or you never know. Like, if you're out and about at a garage sale and you see somebody's using one for something, you can potentially offer to buy a bunch of those Amazon bags. So you never know. You'll never know if you find them. They sell for quite a bit of money. And if you don't want to sell them, which my wife's like, we need to list ours. I'm like, these are too nice.
Okay, so Mike's gonna hoard these Amazon bags.
Yeah, but they're a functional thing, right? It would be like making you sell your rack system in your
okay, inventory. I get it. Yeah, because most of the stuff I have isn't functional. It's just stuff I like.
Yeah.
Okay, which I need to sell. All right. So my Bolo, and I want to go back to Christmas stuff just because right now, to me, is going to be the beginning of Christmas items really selling. I mean, they actually start selling in July, but you're going to see more of it. And this episode is dropping on July 31st, right?
That's right.
So, before August. I'm glad I know my months.
You could just say it's dropping today because when they
that is
listen
true.
to it,
That is true.
It is already July 31st.
So we always talk about Department 56, but there's two brands we have not talked about. And one of them is Fitz and Floyd. And you got to be careful with Fitz and Floyd. You got to do the research, but there's some stuff that's money out there. So, and the reason I say this, I haven't found Fitz and Floyd in a long time. So if things are harder to find, chances are they may be worth more. So I remember selling some nutcrackers that I paid $10 for 2-3 years ago from Fitz and Floyd. And I sold them for like $175 a piece, right? It's found on my garage sale, right? And I've sold like trays and I've sold a bunch of stuff. So keep an eye, but make sure, like with everything, to do the research. It's not like Department 56. Department 56, there are some pieces that aren't worth a lot, but for the most part, most of it you're going to make your money on, right? Fitz and Floyd, it's a little different. All depends on what you pick up, depends on you, depends what the color is, the design, the uniqueness about it. The other one is Christopher Radko. Have you ever heard of that brand?
I haven't.
So they make Christmas ornaments, and I just picked them up at an estate sale for $5 a piece. It was one of those estate sales, like the best ones are when nothing is priced. Then you can work out a deal,
really
right?
do some wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, so I walked out with some Fitz and Floyd. I walked out with some Radko stuff. And I paid I think $15, and I'm probably gonna make $150 on everything. So it wasn't bad. But keep an eye out for Radko stuff. It's it's pretty easy. It's gonna say Radko. Okay, so now the ornament itself should on the bottom say it kind of like with Fitz and Floyd, but sometimes they don't if they're older. But I've sold all kinds of ornaments. It's just been so long, and thrift stores do not have these items, and I don't know why, at least in San Diego. Could be because they're sending them to auction. It could be because maybe people in the area aren't, donating those items. But, I find that most of those items, the Radko and the Fitz and Floyd stuff, I find at garage sales. So that's the Bolo.
That's good stuff, man.
I feel sad. I feel like we should have Hustle of the Week, but that's on our themed episode.
It is on our themed episode. So, Did you see my Insta story about the estate sale I was at with the Department 56?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I walked into the estate sale and there was a whole bunch of Christmas ornaments and Christmas decorations, and I'm kind of looking through them and I don't see anything that's super valuable.
Yeah.
And I see a sign that says Department 56, $3 an item, right? And I'm like,
oh, that's killer.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking, I don't see any Department 56. And I'm there early, I'm there right when it opened. So I ran to the guy out front. I'm like, is the sign says Department 56? Is there Department 56 items here? And he's like, yeah, over in the corner in that shelf over there. And I walked over there, nothing, not a single Department 56 item. So I think they were just assuming Christmas Village item is Department 56. It was a bummer.
That's just terrible. Yeah. That is a bummer.
But I didn't look. I didn't know about Fitz and Floyd and Radko, so maybe there was some of that there.
Yeah, but there's other stuff like Charles Dickens Village, and there's some other brands that aren't good.
They're not
like
good.
Lumex, I think is the other one. It depends. Maybe there's some good ones, but yeah, sometimes, and you got to be careful because I've done a major haul of Department 56, and I come home and 90% of it is, and then they just throw these random brands in there. So you also got to be careful about that. But no, I remember seeing that. Yeah, those are letdowns. And you know what I get all the time is whether it's friends or people on the DMs that go hey, what do you think about this Christmas item? And I'm pretty much unless it's Department 56 or Fitz and Floyd or Radko or there's a few other brands
run.
Yeah, because
Run
what you're
away.
going to do is you're going to look at it and you're going to go hey, this looks really special. It might sell for more. It's not going to. No, it's not going to. So
yeah, Christmas decorations are those things that everybody already has totes and totes of. So people are only going to be buying more if it's really unique, worthwhile stuff.
Yeah, I agree. All right. What are you looking forward to here?
Oh man. So these last few weeks have been crazy. Completely moving out of my house. Actually, tomorrow's my last day at my condo. And so we have to finish up, clean up, make sure everything's 100% out. I finally finished my solar system, which is running great at the house.
All by himself, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was impressive.
Yeah. We're 100% off the grid. Some people do solar and they're connected to the grid. We're if we don't have these batteries charge, we don't have electricity at night, right? So I've got that all figured out, and we finished our move of all of our eBay inventory, but we've been so busy with like moving stuff and getting stuff set up and downsizing and selling that like I have not really been able to list a lot on eBay. I really haven't had time for anything. It's been like every day. I remember telling my wife, like, I don't know what it's like to like not have a lot of stuff to do. Like if she were to tell me right now, like, you have to clean out this entire shed and you have to do this, you have to do that, I'm just like, okay, got it. Because I've been doing so much. If you were to tell me that like a couple of months ago I had to do that, I'd probably complain like, oh, that's so much to do. I don't know how I'd ever get it done. You know, because like I've just almost become desensitized to like overload of stuff to do. So I'm really looking forward to like getting back onto like a normal schedule, having some time to get some items listed, really start upping my sales and going through this inventory. I have 2 racks of inventory that I've been sourcing and have not been listed. So my death pile / inventory reserve is very full.
I get that. But I am of the belief, and what was nice about eBay Open, running into a lot of people that agree with me that death piles are a good thing. Like we've talked about that. Like,
as long as they don't stay death piles indefinitely.
Agreed, but it's always good to have inventory to list to stay active.
I think there should be like a limit. It should be like an item can be in the death pile for a certain amount of time before it becomes dead. You know what I mean? Like, It's almost too much. So I think it's like, okay, if an item's in your death pile for, I don't know what that number is, a month, a week, depends on how much inventory you have and how fast you move. But if an item stays in a death pile for a year, at that point, I don't know if it's good that you've got a big death pile.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
So there should be like so if you always have a death pile, that's good, as long as what's in that death pile is constantly changing.
100%. I couldn't agree. Oh, wait, I do agree. Sorry. All right. So what am I looking forward to?
Yeah, what are you looking forward to?
Well, there's a few things. I'm looking forward to getting back into Amazon some more. Right now, I have like over 100 pieces of apparel sitting in my living room that has to be shipped out. I haven't done that. Friends and family was good, like really good. And it's one of those things where, what happened with friends and family? Those of you that experience this, like, it's going to get harder to source because before I used to have like this universal barcode and that went away. Now you need physical cards. So unless you know someone or unless you buy them off eBay, like it's going to be tougher. But anyway, that's a side note. I really want to keep it. It's funny because I am not a big fan of Amazon in the sense that like, I don't like how they compete against me. I don't like how, they'll put something up that they don't have in stock, but it's back ordered, but they won't, I can't get the buy box. Like, whatever, it's their business, it's their sandbox. But again, I've gotten eBay to a point where eBay is nice and it's paying the bills. Amazon's just extra, but I want to make a little extra, And the other part is I'm excited about using this multi-user access account, like with my helper, because if it streamlines things and it's a lot easier, like, I don't know, I just feel like I'll be able to maybe take on another helper and be able to scale more. Right? Because one of the things I want to do is I want to keep scaling to a point where I'm just sourcing. Right? I will tell you though, I do like listing. I do. I enjoy sitting down, Netflix and list. Like I've watched a lot of good series off of that. But
you listen to a lot of good series.
Yeah, maybe.
You can't put a lot of attention into it. It has to be brainless stuff that you're watching.
It is brainless though.
See, I don't know. My entertainment has to like engage all of my mind. Otherwise,
well, I won't pick stuff like Inception, like the movie Inception, where you have to watch every single moment of it, right? Or you're gonna miss out what's going on. But it's still good. So I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to. I'm being more selective in my sourcing. So I'm really trying to. I already have a lot of '90s gear, but I'm really trying to get more into that niche because I feel like it's still hot and I don't know how much longer it's going to be hot, but I want to ride that wave. And so I'm going to be sourcing more for that. I got a couple connections here and there. And so I'll be sharing that in Instagram stories coming soon. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
I like it.
So, and we have a lot going on. We have our next level up review.
Yeah. So make sure to pick up the 4-hour work week if you're interested in our newest level up review. If you've already read it, still listen in and definitely participate in comments, right? Because we're gonna miss some
We got
stuff.
some good feedback in our comments. on the
Yeah,
other
there
ones.
might be things that you like about the book, you don't like. So we're never, unless we explicitly say like we recommend this book, like we're not saying like we recommend this book. We're just saying, hey, these are books that have a lot of attention in the community, or just they seem to have maybe some literary merit. You know, we might go down that route.
Literary merit.
So so we
Nice.
want to kind of look at them and see, why are people talking about them? What are the positives we can take out of it? So we're going to be doing the 4-hour work week, which, you know, I'm open-minded. So,
Yeah.
and that's how I'm going to go into it, and we'll see how it goes. So
Yeah, and
I'm sure there's going to be a lot to take from it.
Yeah, and don't forget to check out our Hustle at Home interview, Hustle at Home Mom interview, dropping this Sunday. But hey, thank you all for everything. Hopefully we, continue to bring value to you. Make sure to be real,
Be relevant.
and be reselling.
Peace.